31 will call to order this meeting of the Fitchburg Board of Public Works for August 29th, 2022, held at City Hall at the Francis Huntley Cooper Council Chambers. Attending tonight, myself in Council Chambers via Zoom, Board Member Kim Lobdell and Alder Jim Wheeler. First order of business is public appearances for non-agenda items, and we have two members of the public, or three, here to speak. And first I would call Jerry and Kathy Neitzel to come up first. Yeah, up to the mic and turn it on, please. State your name, where you
live. Jerry and Kathy Neitzel at 2482 South Sain Road in Fitchburg. Discussing issues with drainage and stormwater runoff that's been modified wrongly, causing issues.
Yeah, I don't know for the record, they provided me material that the neighbor having a dispute with is selling their house and is trying to hire a lawyer to make Fitchburg enforce ordinances against Jerry and Kathy's property. And I will state for the record that their property has been reviewed by city staff and there are no violations of city ordinances regarding maintenance of property. Do you have anything else you would like to add?
We have things that we're trying to do storage-wise and work-wise on the backside of the property. So we burn wood. So we have wood back there we're trying to process. We can't because this drainage issue is causing that entire area behind our garages to be mud. So even if we were trying to clean up anything, we can't. So she goes and rants on and on about the issues we're causing for her, but she's the problem of the issue because we can't do anything. Half of our yard is mud, probably 75 to 80% of the summer.
Okay. I'll note for the record that Jerry and Kathy have provided some pictures of their property showing the issue. They have also cited Fitchburg Ordinance 30.25, regulation for lands not otherwise subject to provisions of this article. Notwithstanding any other provisions of this article, it shall be a violation of this article for any condition to be established, maintained, or allowed to be maintained that results in excessive runoff or erosion to adjacent land, public streets, and water bodies. So they believe their neighbors are in violation based on this Fitchburg City Ordinance, and they have cited some other county ones talking about groundwater also. Do you have anything else you'd like to add at this point?
That the property is currently with a realtor for sale.
Okay.
And this issue's been going on for, as you know, a long time. But there's things we'd like to do. We'd like to be able to deal with working behind our property and doing things back there, and we just can't because it's mud all the time. And mosquitoes.
Okay. I'd like to think with a new owner, maybe this situation can be resolved whenever that happens. Jim or Kim, do you have any questions for the Neitzels?
I do not.
Go ahead, Jim. Oh, you do not?
Just a comment. Did the city attorney review that ordinance? This is the first time I've heard of this ordinance.
Kathy found it. Apparently it's on our books. Bill, do you have any comment on that?
No, I'll take a look at it.
Okay, I have a copy of it here. So, yeah, it's the first time I came across it too, Jim.
I think the other one that I gave you a copy was a Dane County.
It was Dane County, yes.
Statutes.
Okay.
An ordinance.
All right. Well, thank you. If you don't have anything else, I can let you go. Thank you for coming and expressing your problems before this council.
A question on another topic. We're on Sain with the construction and the water hookup. Do you know what the timeline is for that, Bill, by any chance? Where they're going to be doing the assessments and?
Yeah, it's, we're probably going to get the assessment hearing or the notices out in October, I would think it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're preparing to do the testing and all the whatnot. So, thanks, I
Bill.
appreciate that. Let me add that in. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Patrick Cheney is here at 5211 Kitty Crest Drive in Fitchburg, and his comments watching for answers and questions on South Saline Water Main and Greenfield Water Main Loop. And he's presented a group of questions here that he's provided to the city. Come on up, Patrick. Before you start, Bill, have you had time to get to these?
Yep.
All right. Well, Patrick, go ahead, and then we'll let Bill respond. So the list of questions is there, okay? Bill, you want to go down the line?
Sure.
Best you can.
Yeah, I took a look at Mr. Cheney's questions that he had provided and provided some answers to that regarding the Greenfield water system. We had a boil water notice back on July 7th, and the reason why we had to do that. Basically, the Greenfield water main system is a system that's located south of Irish Lane and west of Saline Road. In the neighborhood that's down there in that area. There's 2 wells that serve that area, well 7 and 8, and they pump between 11 and 14,000 gallons per day each into that system down there. In 2020-21, we installed a water main down South Saline Road, going from Aurora all the way down south past Hilltop. And at Irish Lane, we put a valve in there to isolate the 2 systems until we could make further improvements to what will be a northeast water main zone system. So until we get that completed, we're not going to be able to open up that valve into the south side or the Greenfield water main system down there. Yeah, I just wanted to go through what kind of happened that day. We took well 7 down there out of service because we had a leaky bend in the water main that was there inside the pump house. So we turned it off and we took the bend out and repaired it so it wouldn't leak anymore. But during the day, when we had done that, our contingency plan for what to do when we take wells out of service wasn't finely tuned. We've had about 45 years of experience walk out the door in the past couple of years, and so that was some of the knowledge of this one step that didn't occur that we now know about and have documented thoroughly so it doesn't happen again. What happened was there was a valve or a toggle switch in well 8 that needed to be turned from auto to manual. And what was happening was that the water main that was out there, the water that was in the mains themselves that day, were being drawn down by the customers. And by 5 o'clock at night, we were getting some phone calls saying we don't have any water coming out of our system, out of our faucets. So what actually ended up happening there was that well 8 was being told to fill up the pressure tank, and it was already full. So it just kept turning on and off and repressurizing itself, and nothing was going out of it because it wasn't turned to manual. When it was turned to manual, the water started flowing out of the system or into the system, and everything was back up and running. We posted a advisory boil water, precautionary boil water notice that's part of our emergency contingency plan for what happens when we don't have water pressure. The system itself, we don't have the technical monitoring of the wells themselves as to what the pressure was, so we don't know if it got to 20, 0, what the pressure was, if it was negative. But as precaution, we went and issued the boil water notice for potable drinking water. We did the testing afterwards, or as soon as we were able to, and we were bringing the system back up within 48 hours because we did not have any negative bacteriological samples from the testing. As I mentioned, the Greenfield water system, there's two wells down there, and we are planning to connect it up to the Northeast Water Main system, our system in the future. So we have not opened that valve up into 7 and 8 system. And we can use it as an emergency precaution if there's fire protection issues that we need to open it up. But it will likely result in a boil water notice into that area because of the cross system that we would have to open that up. There's a fire hydrant that's located near Irish Lane that we recently put on an auto, it's not an auto sampler, it's an auto flusher. So that as we take tests down there to make sure that there's enough fluorine in the water, fluoride in the water, and then if it dips below a certain level, then we'll turn that on. We're monitoring it currently just to see how often we have to turn that sample or that flow monitoring on, so that we can get the right chlorine levels in there. And then, so I think that's pretty much what we have down there.
So I had one question. Thank you for that. Thank you for that excellent explanation. Two things. So we can't run them, have a seat, Patrick, I'll be with you in 1 sec. So we can't tie those systems together right now. The Greenfield and the water main going down there, it's not capable of being tied together due to strength of pipes. I didn't quite understand.
Sure. I need to do a little more research on that with our utility engineer when she gets back, but from my understanding is we need to have the programming in place to be able to turn 7 and 8 on or off in conjunction with our east zone systems with wells 11 and 10 that's out there. So we got to have a way for them to turn on and off and get water into the system. And we've got a study that's ongoing right now, and they're saying that it's too difficult to make that happen. So right now, for the next 1.5 to 2 years, while we've got the new water tower under design, that'll go in by Highway 14 and Lacey Road. We're going to have to keep that valve closed and only open it during emergency issues.
Understood. Thank you. Patrick.
I very much appreciate Bill's explanation. For the benefit of this board, as well as the membership of my East Fitchburg Neighborhood Association, I would like to get the response or the explanation, whatever Bill would like to provide in an email, or this was a, Word document or something like that that I wrote up these questions in, so that I can pass it to my membership of the East Fitchburg Neighborhood Association, members in the Greenfield area, and just like myself outside of it, who want to understand how the water system works and how this South Scion water main and the Greenfield loop are designed to operate together.
Thank you, Patrick. Bill, one other question or just a comment. I've experienced similar things when I had very experienced people leave, all through the cracks. If you have it coming up, maybe the last 2 weeks they're there, have them write down everything or things that have happened to them. It's hard to capture that knowledge, but keep that in mind.
Yeah, definitely. But it's one of those, things that somebody knew from 30 years ago that it's not used very often, but eventually it does come to head.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Patrick. You can provide an email to Patrick.
I will.
Thank you. Okay. All right, next we're going to move on to agenda item 3, approval of minutes. We have a motion to approve the minutes from the August 15th, 2022 meeting.
I move approval.
Moved by Wheeler. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Lobdell. Any questions, comments, changes, things to amend? I wasn't here, so I can't comment. Seeing none, call the vote. All in favor of the approval of the August 15th, 2022 meeting minutes, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, report from the department head, Mr. Bill Walke.
We're working with the contractor over for South Sain Road to come up with a plan on getting some construction started in the near future. I have to follow up on the dates for that. It could potentially be as early as next week after Labor Day that we start seeing some barrels in the area. So be on the lookout for that, and I'll get notices out for that. And yeah, that's the big one that we're working on right now.
What's your estimated start date, do you think?
I
like to get
haven't been
started already.
intimately involved with the construction timelines at this point, but I will be for the foreseeable future, trying to get those, get up to speed on that and manage that project.
Would be reasonable, September sometime?
It will be September. It's somewhere between the 6th and the 15th. We're waiting on some supplies and redesigns that we're doing at currently to get some construction completed.
Thank you, Bill. Board have any questions for Bill? I see heads nodding no. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate the report. Next, we move on to our review items, the review of utility P-card purchases and checks. And I'll open up to the members if they had any. Please jump in. I had one here. I just need to page down to find it again.
It looks like the converter did a number on our.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to read.
Bill, I had one. It's not a big amount. It's more understanding on my part. When we use our street sweeper, do we always take, what we've accumulated to the county landfill? I thought maybe we piled it up over here or put it in. Has that always been the practice to take it to the landfill?
It has been for the past few years, just given the waste that we pick up. We don't have a solid waste permit for this, for reuse. So yeah, that's something we can look into, but it's pretty limited in the areas that we can reuse the material at.
So it's at 16 tons, it's only $400. Is that half the city, the whole city? I don't have a sense of, this time of year, I wouldn't consider, we'd have a ton of, compared to in the spring when, after the snow melts, but you have a sense of that was a decent amount of city or a small amount?
Yeah, it's several passes through the city that we do, and we accumulate enough to make a few trips out there at one time.
Okay. Do we, are we offloading it into our plow trucks and taking it out there, or?
Yep.
Okay. Kim, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good.
All right, seeing none, we'll move on to our agenda items. First one is Resolution R-15722, approval of memorandum of understanding for Fitchburg Minerals for stormwater system operations and maintenance. Do we have a motion to approve this?
I move approval.
Moved by Wheeler, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Lobdell. So my understanding of this bill, with we need a stormwater facility for Lacey Road rebuild.
Correct.
And so we need an easement from Lacey Road down to this limited stormwater facility that we're going to put in at this time that will eventually be the area stormwater facility for Fitchburg Minerals. Is that correct?
Yep.
So it has a limited easement, or how it was worded. This will be a permanent easement, won't it? To take the water from the road. That's where the easement is, or is the easement for the pond?
The easement is covers, the permanent easement covers the pond area itself, and there's a grading easement beyond that, a temporary one that we would use as well.
Okay. Anything you want to add here on this?
Yeah, no, we've been working with Fitchburg Minerals over the past year to combine our stormwater needs with their stormwater needs, and we're at the point now where we need to acquire the land to construct the pond and the conveyance to it and from. And working with Fitchburg Minerals and our real estate negotiator consultant, we thought that having a side agreement with a memorandum of understanding would clean up the purchase paperwork that we have, that's ongoing right now, just so that we have a clear understanding of what each party can expect from this easement. And that's what the easement lays out, is to what the city's responsibilities will be, what we're granting or agreeing to, that we would allow Fitchburg Minerals to incorporate their stormwater into ours upon dedication of the outlot for city purposes.
So will we be, the road will come before the subdivision, hopefully. So we'll do what we need for the road runoff, and then when the subdivision's built, will they be making it larger? Explain the mechanism to me here.
Sure. Yeah, the area that we're including for the pond, it won't be the entire outlot as shown in here. So we are going to be incorporating the Fitchburg Minerals is going to be using the additional area for what they need for the stormwater for their needs, and then it would be a combined pond, which would be dedicated to the city.
So will there be a lot of rework, I guess?
Oh, no. We're situating it so that they can just build onto it. So we're putting it to the north as far as we can go. And then when they come in, they'll be digging to the south and to the east.
Okay. Kim, Jim, questions?
No, it's been pretty clear to me. It's like the city is responsible for building what is necessary for the Lacey Road construction, but once they do the subdivision, then they are responsible for any expansion that is needed. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. The only comment I had looking at it, at where that pond will go, it seems like the surface area of the streets and everything are larger than, as the pond goes down 50 feet. Hopefully studies will show we can maintain their stormwater in that basin. Okay. No other questions? We'll call the vote. All in favor of Resolution R 15722, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next, Resolution R 16922, Public Works Maintenance Facility Vehicle Lift Replacement. We have a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve.
Moved by Lobdell. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Wheeler. So we'll note our lift has not worked for at least 5 years?
It's been at least 3 years.
Oh, 3, okay. And so we looked at the option of replacing it with a like, and we found that was significantly higher.
Correct. We found that to remove and replace the existing system that we have there would cost around $370,000, I think it was. And we went out and looked at what the county was using for their lifts. And essentially what we purchased or will be purchasing is like on page 16 of 78. They're mobile lifts. They're the highest capacity that they have so that they can grow and expand to our needs. And we like that they're actually mobile so that if there is a truck that breaks down out in the garage or in the garage proper, we can take the lifts out there and do the work on it. We can take the mechanics out to where the repair is. So, and then if we ever do expand our facilities or a new facility, we could always take those with us. And it was significantly less cost than the proposed remove and replace system. So we're recommending going with the purchase of those.
Are they, I just want to make sure they're able to work, we have our floor sloped for can they work, like we mentioned when we talked about CertCo, their floor is perfectly level for theirs to work. These, be able to work in our facility with our slope on our floors.
Yep. When we went out and researched with the vendors, that was one of the things that, it can operate up to a certain slope of floor without any impacts. So, we can even work outside on these. So it's very, very compatible with what we need.
Are we hooking these up to an air hose? Are they electric?
They are, I'm not
They're
sure.
hydraulic, but
They're hydraulic
Hydraulic.
and,
probably an electric hydraulic pump.
right, there's an electric pump in there.
Okay, all right. I'll note that, with this, there's other city vehicles that can be maintained by using this besides, any of our city vehicles could be put on this.
We can. I think one of the issues we might have is with our ladder truck. We won't be able to lift that inside of our existing facility, but we could take it outside and do the work now, so.
Cool. Kim, Jim, any questions?
Still provides you more flexibility than what you currently had with the, the in-ground one, so. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a good modification. It's a new use, and I think you'll get a lot of use out of it.
Yeah, I do too. You don't have to go very far around the country and you'll see garages that gone out of business, they couldn't afford to fix their lift anymore. And so having one is beneficial, both for keeping our fleet working and safety of the people working on it. All right, seeing no other questions, we'll call the vote. All in favor of Resolution R-16922, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Announcements. Our next Board of Public Works meeting will be Monday, September 19th. If you can't make it, let us know. Kim, thank you for attending. You're looking well. I hope you're feeling well. But,
Third of 3 weeks, so next week I will not be looking this well.
okay. Well,
I doubt I will be at the next meeting because that is the week right after my chemo treatment.
don't even think about it. Don't even worry about it. Please do not even worry about it. Thank you. Thank you for attending tonight. Then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Lobdell. We have a second.
Second.
Second by Wheeler. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We are adjourned.